Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists of pointless things, where we fly and buy his pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 are the huts located at Gruken Hill in the Jade Forest. And these huts are made by all of the Hosen in the area, or I guess I would imagine they are. I don't know who else would build them. And it appears that they're made out of bamboo and banana leaves. And I really like the style of these huts. I especially like that the bamboo stairs are a thing, because it almost feels like they just climb up the stairs anyway. Like they don't have to walk on their feet up the stairs. They can literally just, you know, climb up on all fours into the building. Although you still have the capability to get into their huts, you know, on 2 legs and not 4. But I just thought it was a cool aesthetic choice where they don't really care about flat steps, right? Like they're just going to climb up anyway. So it's more like a ladder than actual stairs. And I was actually curious about what really defines a hut versus, you know, say a tent or a shack or whatever it might be. And it says here that a hut is a small, simple dwelling often made of natural materials like wood, mud, or stone and can be used as a temporary or permanent shelter. A tent, on the other hand, is a portable shelter made of fabric typically used for camping and other outdoor activities. So I wanted to define that because I actually had some tents on this list that I was like, these aren't actually huts, so I had to move them for a future video for Pointless Top 10 Tents. So that's why the Gruken Hill huts are number 10. 9. Number 9 are the troll huts located at Senjin Village in Duratar and at Zeb Halak in the Grizzly Hills. And there's probably plenty of more places that have troll huts, but these are the ones that I picked out. And one really cool thing about them that I never really noticed until I took the time to stop and really analyze these troll huts is that both of them have bones that act as guardrails. So on the back of buildings or on top of a, building as a lookout, it has, the guard railing going all around. But you can see here the bones are just sticking out of the wooden floor. I don't know how they attach bones to the floor, maybe some sort of troll magic, but they've done it, and I think it's pretty cool. And I also love that each of these troll tribes is using materials from the surrounding area, right? You have the Zeb Halak ones, which have more pine trees and, maybe more of the Grizzly Hills materials. And then you look at the Senjin Village trolls, and they're using more of animal hides and just things you would find in Duratar. But yeah, I couldn't make a top 10 list without including troll huts, and so that's why the troll huts are number 9. 8. Number 8 are the Murloc huts, and I'm sure everybody has seen a Murloc hut at some point while playing World of Warcraft, whether it's in the classic version or the retail version, because they actually do have the retail Murloc huts, and they're just a much more updated version of the Murloc hut, but it's pretty much the same aesthetically. They kept that old Murloc hut style, which I actually think is pretty cool. And the big thing I noticed with Murloc huts is they don't really close them off. Like, they're all opened up, they can sit there, they can see everything around them, and I feel like maybe that's a Murloc thing. Maybe they're like, we don't want doors and stuff because they always want to be alert, right? They always want to know what's around them. So maybe they build their huts so that they can, stand there and look out at everything and be on watch, and then they can go to sleep on the huts, and they're a multi-purpose type of hut, right? But as simplistic as they are, I think they do a great job of really showing the Murloc aesthetic and what Murlocs are all about. And so that's why I put the Murloc huts at number 8. 7. Number 7 are the Quillbore huts located in the Razorfen Kraal. And I was actually going to pick the Quillbore huts and the Barrens and out there, but I thought these are just cooler because it almost feels like it's a hut but cut in half. It's like the roof of the hut is the hut. It's like there's no bottom half. It's just they only use the top half. It's like they all got together and they're like, we don't even need the bottom half of the hut. We'll just take the top half for shelter. And they're like, dude, that's a great idea. However, then there's a bunch of huts where you have to climb up ladders to get to the hut, but even those huts are half of a hut. You can see up top. But then there's Charlga Razorflank, and her hut is like the most hut-looking hut of all the huts. And by the time I'm done with this video, the word hut's gonna not even look real. You know that where you're like, look at a word over and over and then it starts to look not real or sound not real? Like just saying hut over and over just sounds not real at this point. So yeah, the Quillbore and Razorfen Kraal got some cool looking huts, and that's why they're number 7. 6. Number 6 are the Orc huts, and the Orc huts, I would say, are the most well-known huts in the game because these have been around since classic World of Warcraft. I feel like most people that played Horde have at least seen these on the way to Orgrimmar, or, Warsong Gulch has them. They're kind of all over the place. And then if you're the Alliance, I imagine at some point maybe you were raiding Orgrimmar or going somewhere and you just pass these huts. Like, everybody has seen these huts before. And for a while when I was looking at them, I was like, are these even huts? They just look more like houses. But I realized it's because they are built on this stone foundation, and then they have these stone arch doorways to get into the hut, but the actual entire rest of the building is just a hut. In fact, the more that I kept looking at the entranceway to these huts with the big stone arches, the more I kept seeing the dark portal. And I was like, did they just use dark portal assets for the front of these huts? But I don't think they did, but it does look eerily similar. But anyway, I love these orc huts. You know, as old as they are, I still think they hold up pretty well. And so that's why the orc huts are number 6. 5. Number 5 are the Arakoa huts located in the Spires of Iraq, as well as the Terakar Forest. And at first I was only going to do the Spires of Iraq huts because I really love the way they look. I love the modern feel of these huts. It almost looks like they're made out of bark, because I think they might actually be. I don't know how the Arakoa make these, but they have really cool interiors. They got a bunch of scrolls in there. They got it's like the Papa-san chairs, is that how you say it? It looks like it's out of Pier 1. But then I was like, you know what? I gotta include some of the Terakar Forest huts as well, because these are, you know, very iconic. I think a lot of people remember these huts, and they are still really cool and very Arakoa themed, and, you know, they're the original ones. And I think one of the coolest things about these huts is the entranceway. You've got these big spiked wheels that are almost like handrails, and then you've got the interwoven tree branches tied together. I just think that looks really sick. And it's, you know, they're birds, they're bird people, so it makes sense. They're living in tree houses, right? But yeah, these are some really cool huts, very unique, and that's why the Arakoa huts are number 5. 4. Number 4 is a troll hut located in Moonglade, and that's probably not something you were expecting to see on this list. But I think I was doing the Lunar Festival or something that required you to go to Moonglade, and I just found this, and I was like, dude, what is this? There's like a random troll hut here? Like, it feels very out of place. The hut itself looks like I've never seen it before in the game. It's got a bunch of glowy eyes and masks and really cool stuff, but obviously it's troll themed. And I looked it up, and apparently it was added during Legion for the Druid Order Hall quest. And so it made a lot more sense, because I was like, oh yeah, that's right, there's troll druids. So obviously they had to add something troll themed where a troll could stand and be like, hey, you're a druid and we're here in Moonglade now. Like, oh, okay. But yeah, everything aside, this is actually a really cool hut. I wish they would use this for more troll stuff going into the future, because I really like the masks with the troll tusks and the glowy eyes. Like, I think that looks really cool. They should use that for just troll stuff elsewhere in the game. So hopefully they do that. But this is a really cool hut and a very unique hut, and that's why it's number 4. 3. Number 3 are the Windy Reed huts located in classic Nagrand. And I already covered these at one point for Pointless Top 10 Weirdest Buildings in World of Warcraft, but I had to put them on huts because these really are some of the coolest huts in the game. They give me this Dr. Seuss vibe. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's because they're kind of like a jester hat. They're kind of drooping over. And I don't know if that's an aesthetic choice that they made. I think it is, because they hang a little crystal, I think it is. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of little crystals they hang all over. So maybe they did that as like a, I don't know what the crystals do. Maybe they bless the home. Maybe there's some sort of, you know, backstory there that we don't really know about, or maybe somebody does know about it. If you do, post in the comments section, but I just think it's really cool. And then in addition to all the little huts, they actually have this big, massive hut that doesn't have that droopy thing. It's just got, you know, it almost looks like a normal building, but it's just made out of various leathers and skins and stuff. And it looks like they're hanging a bunch of crystals on that building as well. So yeah, these huts are great. They're one of the buildings that I think of most when I think of Outland, and that's why they're number 3. 2. Number 2 are these huts in the Shadow Moon Valley, and I love these huts because, number 1, they really do fit into the Shadow Moon Valley, specifically the Draenor one, not the, you know, destroyed Outland one. But I really love the design with the floating rocks. Like, you have the floating rocks above these huts, and then they have all the inscriptions and stuff, so you can tell they're magical. We see some crystals again, like we did in the Nagrand Dr. Seuss huts. And not only that, but they're using the rocks that are floating in the air as the actual structures for some of these huts. You can see there, you know, they're literally just building the hut out of these magical rocks. So maybe they have some magical properties. Maybe they're, you know, powering up these houses or giving this area magic. Like, who knows? But it's a really cool concept. And not only that, there's also some little huts. They don't have the magical rocks, but, you know, they got sticks, they got cloth. It's a basic type of hut. Also, I'm surprised I haven't did a Jabba the Hutt reference. Well, I guess I did now. So overall, these are really cool. I love the magical rock style huts, and so that's why they're number 2. 1. And number 1 are the Blood Troll huts located in Nazmir. And I just think these are some of the coolest looking huts in the game. I don't know what they're made out of. I don't know if I want to know. It almost looks like muscle fibers and various plant fibers and stuff. It looks really creepy, to be honest. And then they've got these skull-shaped designs on it. And I don't know what the skull shapes are made out of either. It's just We don't really know, and so I wanted to look into it a bit, and on the WoW wiki it says, blood trolls are a troll subgroup who inhabit the swamps of Nazmir and Zandalar and worship Gahun. They use forbidden blood magic, which corrupts the creatures around them and turns them into blood beasts. The blood trolls originate from Zandalari trolls who long ago clung to the use of blood magic. So maybe these huts are made out of blood magic, maybe the huts are actually made out of the blood beasts, which could make sense. In fact, now the more that I look at it, I think the actual skull design is made out of bones, which honestly would make sense because skulls are bones, right? So, I mean, it's not that weird. But yeah, I love these huts. I think they're so cool, they're so unique, and Battle for Azeroth still has some of the best art in World of Warcraft, and that's why the blood troll huts are number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more Top 10s, you can check out Weirdest Buildings in World of Warcraft, which I mentioned earlier in the video, or you can go check out Waterfalls, since that's the one I made last week. Also, like, comment, subscribe, and consider supporting the channel over on patreon.com/crendor or by becoming a channel member. Okay? Okay. See ya.